All right. Let's do this.
Kill you! I've just seen death!
Do you know what the most frightening thing in the world is?
Fellas,
What's up?
how's it going?
Hey,
How's everybody doing tonight?
Yo.
good.
It's pretty good.
I feel like I've been out of the game. I've been out of the game for like a month now because now that Gabriel knows my pain, I decided that I was going to get out of my car one day, and that was a big mistake. And I moved like 1 inch in the wrong direction, and I wasn't able to walk for 2 weeks.
Fuck.
Yeah. So,
Shit.
yeah, the joys of back pain, and then the same week, Gabriel, your back went out, and you're just now starting to recover.
I'm just starting to recover. You should have called us to move the AC, Chris.
Yeah, that would have been a good idea. I'd supervise.
Dude, you should see how I was walking.
Yeah, next time.
Up.
Thing looks heavy, dude.
How's your back,
okay.
Eric?
Mine's is
Yeah.
good
Eric's
so
good.
far.
Fuck you, Eric. Fuck you and your strong back muscles.
My back's okay, but it kind of always hurts because I ever since I fell down the stairs like 15 years ago, you
How'd you
know,
fall
when
down
you
the
hurt your back,
stairs?
it's never the same. Taking the
You-
trash out and I just slipped,
Classic
and
mistake.
I probably jumped about 10 stairs and
Oh.
somehow shifted my weight so I'd fall backwards instead of forwards because I was like in like a split second I was like, oh my god, if I fall forward I'm either gonna break my neck or break my arms, you know.
Yeah.
So but I landed on my tailbone, which is
Ooh.
yeah, exactly. Ooh.
The only way that would have been worse if you landed on a sprinkler head or something.
Like it's like a final destination death.
Yeah.
But the people that keep getting the sciatic nerve shit, it's just like the shit that Matthew was doing, just like getting out of the car,
Yeah.
moving like light shit, and you just fucking.
Oh yeah.
One time I just turned to talk to somebody and then I went, oh, and I was out for like 8 weeks.
The doctor told you not to be turning like that, dude.
I know. He
You
said,
don't listen.
don't turn anymore.
Don't
Don't
be
look
turning.
at people. Yeah, so I've been out for a month. People were asking me why I haven't put any shows out, and I was only on Frank Welker Wonder Hour because like I didn't have to do anything and just sit there. But with this show, I actually have to do stuff, so I was gone for a while. Yeah. So also last week I mentioned that I do paintings, and some people were asking for me to show them. And I'm going to edit them in later. And I'm just going to react to them right now. Oh, look at that one.
That's pretty good.
Oh,
That one's sick.
thanks, man.
That's a sick one.
That one's cool. That one's not even mine.
No.
That's a penis.
That's
I was about to say that was my favorite. Oops.
Oh,
Oops.
so there you go.
Nice.
So, gentlemen, the reason I brought you all here tonight is because you are either very familiar with the LA area or very hard drinkers, or a combination
both.
thereof.
Combination of both.
Well, I always refer to Chris and Eric because they know the LA bar scene pretty well.
I like bars.
Yeah.
Chris is
Bars
pretty
are good.
fucking-
Bars, Chris is more places than
Weed
I've
is
ever
tight.
Yeah.
been.
Tight.
Yeah, bars are kind of my thing, so you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a lightweight when it comes to drinking. I don't know. I told you guys all to make some cocktails tonight. Chris, what are you drinking?
I'm drinking my go-to vodka soda.
Nice.
Unfortunately, I don't have a lemon at home, so it's
Kettle One.
okay though. Cheers.
All right, Eric.
Cheers. I didn't make a cocktail, but I'll have one shortly. But I'm drinking some Modelo today.
Oh, we were just talking about how I hate Modelo.
What? Why? What did it do to you?
I don't like the dark one.
He says it's dark. That's just not
Oh.
even dark.
This one's not dark. You
Yeah.
want Modelo Negro.
I
That's
don't
what
like
I'm
it
saying.
because it's dark.
That's what I said. I was like, that one's like it's pretty light.
Yeah.
And Gabriel, you're drinking, what is it?
I'm drinking the Kona Big
Kona.
Wave.
All right.
Oh, nice.
So I'm trying to watch my calories. So I made a Greyhound, a low calorie Greyhound with Tito's and grapefruit White Claw, and it's not very good.
Oh, bummer.
But it'll do the trick.
Butt chugging.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I already lost this stuff earlier. I'm gonna be tripping.
Are those the cocktails in a can? Is that what that is?
Mine?
Yeah.
Oh no, it's I just poured a shot and a half of Tito's, and then I got a grapefruit White Claw, the sparkling.
Oh, okay.
And so it has a grapefruit taste, but it doesn't have the sugar in it because I'm trying to do keto right now, and it fucking sucks.
Gotcha. Okay, I was confused for a second. So you just added more vodka to your White Claw.
Yes. Yeah.
Gotcha.
I would have came over and made you one with my crystal skull.
Oh, those are filtered over diamonds, right?
Oh,
to filter over all the bad spirits. I heard Dan Aykroyd talking about
just
it.
in time for Prime Month, dude. That's just you still made it.
Yeah.
Oh, that one. Yeah.
Eric celebrates Pride Month year round, buddy.
Pride year.
So, gentlemen, Los Angeles is home to many a watering hole, as we discussed. Quite a few of these bars have been around for a long time, from when before Hollywood was Hollywood. And a lot of them have some pretty dark histories behind them. And usually where there's dark histories or sad histories, the spirits tend to follow. So today we're going to be talking about the haunted bars of LA. Now, it's actually pretty hard to find specific stories about the haunts in the actual bars. A lot of people just say, yeah, that bar is haunted, but they don't say anything specific. And I wasn't going to just try to crib notes from Spooky Foodie on IG because she goes around to all the bars and it gets all the stories. But I wanted to do my own research. For the first time ever, I bought and read a book for this show.
Oh, my God.
Fuck?
I know.
Nice.
What's wrong with you, man?
I know.
Wait, what's today's date?
I bought a book.
So I got Gourmet Ghosts by James Bartlett, and it's about bars and about restaurants of LA, but he's got all the inside track, and it's actually pretty good. I don't know if you guys follow Spooky Foodie on IG?
No.
I do.
Yeah. So she goes around to all the bars and does like ghost investigations and talks to people there, but I can't walk, so I'm not going to do that. And no one does a shit if I did that on IG.
Must be nice.
Yeah.
I think I've been to most of the bars she's been to.
Okay, great.
So, and she's been to a lot of restaurants I've noticed too, and I think pretty much every restaurant and bar in LA is haunted, according to. But
every
I don't
single
know.
one.
Really? Right.
Well, if it's a restaurant or a bar in LA, someone's died there for sure.
Oh, right, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
If it's been around more than a year or two, somebody's either been stabbed or OD'd or something.
For sure. So, all right. So the first place we're gonna talk about is the Magic Castle. So I just brought that up on screen there. Hopefully there it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So the Magic Castle, tons of ghost stories from the Magic Castle. It has a few different bars there. First of all, have you guys been to the Magic Castle?
No.
I
have not.
Okay. It has a few different bars and different levels, the Owl Bar and the Hat and the Hare, and there's a couple others. And the Magic Castle is home to all sorts of different things. Seances. They have every once in a while to do a seance trying to get a hold of the ghost of Houdini. They still haven't. After all these times, they still haven't.
He always escapes, man. That's his trick.
Yeah. He sees them calling and runs away. No, he set up like a code word with his wife before he died and said, like, if you go to a medium and they say this, that means that they actually got a hold of me. And it was like carbuncle or something like that, or banana.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. Yeah, no one's actually got that yet. I think originally they eventually revealed it, but yeah. So lots of ghost stories here. One worker described being there overnight during a storm, and they started to hear music play downstairs, and it was thunder and lightning outside, so they didn't really hear it at first, and they're like had to train their ear to the sound, and they're like, "Oh, that's coming downstairs." So they made their way downstairs, and as soon as they get downstairs and open the door, the music stops. And that seems to be, they've sort of leaned into that, and they have a player piano set up now downstairs, and they say like the Ghost of Irma plays for people. So they tend to, as a Magic Castle would, they tend to lean into the ghost stories. People often mention that they were just talking to the nicest bartender, and when the other employees there will say like, "Oh, describe them to me," they'll talk about who they met.
Employees can confirm there is no nice bartender.
Exactly. Yeah.
They're like, that's a ghost.
Yeah, that's definitely a spirit or a demon.
He's the one that looks kind of smoky, kind of transparent.
Yeah, it's the one who's fading in and out of existence. So after they describe the person who they saw, the employees will go, "Oh, that's Lauren Tate." The only problem is Lauren Tate died many years prior. So again, they tend to lean into that. The coolest, well, not the coolest, but the weirdest story I heard of is in 1986, a magician named Chris Michaels was set to perform at one of the smaller stages, and time was coming up for the show to begin. A stagehand goes backstage to go get him, and they see him sitting in a chair, and they're like, "Chris, time to go on," and he didn't move. And so they go up to him, and they realize that he had just died sitting there.
Oh, fuck.
So So now, anytime a magician performs and it goes badly, they blame their bad performance on Chris.
I blame everything on Chris too.
Yep.
So if anyone's been to the Magic Castle, please leave a comment. Let us know if you had any experiences there. I've always wanted to go because I don't know if you guys had the same thing, but did you go through wanting to be a magician when you were young phase? Why are you guys so quiet?
Very slightly.
Why are you looking at me like that?
I think I did after going to the Disneyland Magic Shop for the first time for like a minute,
dude.
Right?
Nothing better than the Disneyland Magic Shop.
It's always really cool, you know?
Yeah.
I'd save up my money all year if I knew we were going to Disneyland. I'd just buy like some little cheap gimmick of like, I could put a cigarette through a quarter.
Yeah.
And the problem is once you get home and you start practicing and it's like, this doesn't look as good, you know?
Yeah. It never looks as good. I gave up like maybe a year into it. And it's like,
wow,
man, I'm either going to get really good at this or I'm going to suck for a long time and people are going to make fun of me. So I was just like, nah, I'll pick something else.
You just have one good trick, you know? Just
you have one good trick. I would do tricks for my parents and like, they're like, "Oh, that's great.
Got your nose."
And then I turn around and walk away, and I could hear them going, "That fucking sucked."
told you not to fucking take them to the show.
Here he goes with the magic again.
Oh yeah,
so like, he's been doing it for a year.
This is what he's been doing in his room. Yeah, so I don't know if it used to be that the Magic Castle you had to be invited to go. I don't know if that's still the case or not. It doesn't seem like that's a very like viable business operation.
Yeah, what the fuck is that? Yeah,
I think it is. I'm not sure either, but that's what I've always heard. You know what? I almost forgot about this. Okay, when I was a little kid, our neighbor was a magician who worked there, and he invited my dad. But I think you have to be like 18 or 21 to even get in. So there's no way I would have been able to go. But
oh yeah,
our neighbor was a magician who worked there for a while.
Yeah, that's my parents went there when I was young, and I knew I wasn't able to go along, or they just didn't want to take me.
Bummer. Dreams crushed.
Dad, there's nothing more I want to be than a magician. Yeah, so if anyone's been to the Magic Castle and had any experiences or just want to say something about it, let us know in the comments.
A really nice bartender.
Oh yeah, if you met a really nice bartender that was partially see-through.
Probably a ghost.
All right, so the next place we're going to talk about is Borders by LaBelle. Has anyone been to Borders by Borders by LaBelle?
It's been like 20 years, but I've been there. Yeah,
You've been there. Okay.
very long time ago.
Borders is a bar, one of the many bars of LA that claims to have the patronage of Elizabeth Short before she was murdered, which brings us back to Chris's last episode he was on, the Black Dahlia.
Don't ever forget, Chris said, I wish I found a dead body.
Chris is the guy. If you go to any bar in LA and you go out back to have a smoke, if there's a guy in the alley looking around, that's Chris. He's looking for a dead body.
Just searching for bodies.
Stuff around.
Where's the dead bodies at?
Yeah,
I'm
kicking
looking under
cans
garbage
around.
bags.
Oh, shucks.
Just a dog.
So, Borders by LaBelle is located on Cherokee Avenue. It's a 75-year-old. Well, you can't call it a dive bar. It's too nice to be called a dive bar. And it used to be located above a gay porn club. Just dropping that in there.
Yeah, that's a fun fact.
when they moved in and they started renovating, they were tearing down walls and found tons of gay porn in the walls, which is the same thing you'll find if you tear down Eric's walls.
Oh, I knew that was
Don't tell
coming.
nobody.
I knew that was coming. Come on, Chris. You can't be saying that right now.
Yeah, they found tons of gay porn and quote unquote other things. That's what it said in the book, but they didn't say what the other things were.
They shall not speak of it.
I'm guessing plugs of certain types.
Yeah.
So a lot of the employees there tell of strange occurrences. This was mentioned in the Gourmet Ghost book. So, quote, employees have seen, heard, and felt many different things. Music and televisions turning on when the power is shut off, doors opening and closing, faces seen in the women's bathroom mirror, and apparitions seen in the alley entrance and in the loft. Yeah, apparently this place is super haunted. Did you have any experiences there, Chris?
Not at the gay club. He's talking about the bar.
No, Bordner,
Oh,
not the
Borders. No, just drinks and
drinks.
nah. Always very crowded when I was there, so I wouldn't have noticed anything.
It seems like a pretty popular place. Like if you look at the sign, oh here's a Spooky Foodies. Yeah, she always comes up. This sign here. That's a pretty famous sign in LA. I haven't been there because I don't go out or do anything. I just stay at home with my cats. Eric, have you been there?
No, I haven't been there. It looks cool.
You haven't been there. Do you want to go?
Too bad that porn shop's not there anymore.
We should go check it out, dude. Let's do field trip.
That's what I'm saying.
I haven't been in a really long time, and I think did it mention anything about them filming movies there? Because I could be wrong, but I think they shot part of Ed Wood there.
Yes, I believe they did. A lot of these places had movies shot there. Yeah, and Ed Wood shot at all over places around LA. So you can throw a stone and hit a place where they shot. By the way, Ed Wood's one of the greatest fucking movies ever. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
I have not.
I've never seen that one.
Fuck
you've
you!
never seen. Oh fuck, dude!
Wow, you haven't seen Ed Wood? Oh man,
Come on,
you should
Eric.
watch that tonight. It's pretty funny. You'll like it.
Come on, Gabriel. Jesus.
I told you it was on the list. It's gonna be a movie night with Matthew. Dude.
Yeah.
Since you can't go out, we're gonna come
and
to
the
you.
cats.
All right. So the next place that we're going to cover is the Sassafras Saloon, located on Vine Street, 1233 Vine Street. Anybody been there?
No, that looks pretty cool though.
I wish I could
that
say I
looks cool,
have. It's on my list of places to visit because I I'd never noticed it before until like I think a couple months ago, and I saw a picture of the outside. I mean,
Yeah.
it looks like it's haunted, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this place
Oh fuck yeah.
looks great. And the crazy thing about it, it's an actual house that was brought over from the savannah. So like it was brought over in pieces and then reconstructed here, or that's a bullshit story.
Yeah.
And it's just like some like Hollywood
It
a
sounds
set
good,
decorator did it. But this place looks incredible. Like it's
So that's just cool.
yeah, I would definitely like to go here. It looks like a movie set or some shit.
Yeah.
I've never seen these photos, so I got to go soon.
Yeah. So this place is filled with original relics that were in the house or from the Savannah area. And if you know the like base thing about Savannah is it's supposed to be crazy haunted. Like every square inch of that place it's just lousy with ghosts. So one of the stories that keeps popping up here is people see a woman in white roaming the house all over the place. I don't know why, but ghosts are always seen in white.
That's true.
Especially women. I don't know what that's all about. So this one I actually did have to crib from Spooky Foodie because this is not covered in the book that I read, but she told of a story of a woman that was super drunk, celebrating something. She went upstairs and the woman saw a top hat, and she decided that she was going to take the top hat home. And a few days later, the lady returns, apologizes, and says that ever since she took the hat, nothing but bad things have happened to her. Car wrecks, accidents, all sorts of terrible things, which is like, that's like a common story. Like the Annabelle doll with the Ed and Lorraine Warren.
Yeah.
Somebody like jokes about the doll and then they end up dying in a car wreck, or like, you know, some Robert the doll in Florida. You're not supposed to like take a photo unless you ask permission from Robert the doll. And if you do take a photo without asking permission, you like get herpes or something. I don't know. Something terrible happens to you.
I wonder if she was wearing the hat like all the time.
Oh, she had to be, yeah. She's like, look at this hat I took.
It's a top hat. It's pretty hard to drive with a top hat on, I would think, too, you know? Like,
look at that.
You could drive with a top hat.
Maybe that was the cause of the accidents. It kept like bumping lower, you know, into her eyes.
I've always wanted to open the moonroof of my car and wear a really big top hat and just stick my head out the top of the car. That's a good way to get decapitated.
You'd be all right.
So yeah, this is definitely on my list of things to do. I would love to go to this place. It looks incredible.
Like a good one.
Yeah, let's go, you guys.
All right.
Looks like fun.
Looks like a lot of fun.
Do you have a picture of the outside, Matthew?
You know what? I think I do. Hold on a second. I'll get.
It's pretty creepy looking. I mean, I think I may have driven past it and I just never even noticed it because it just looks like a rundown, abandoned.
Yeah,
building.
It looks pretty unassuming from the outside. Check it out.
Oh, okay.
Oh, that's actually lit up. I've seen it without the lights on, but
so you've passed by it. Okay.
Yeah. I think they have really weird hours too, if I remember correctly, because I looked it up, and I mean I could be wrong, but I think they're only open like a couple days of the week, and I don't know.
It makes sense. It's pretty specialized. They'll have like special shows in the different areas, and they really play up the whole theme of it.
Okay.
Yeah. It makes me think of like did you guys ever eat at the restaurant that's by Pirates of the Caribbean?
No, I never.
Oh yeah, the Blue Bayou.
Oh yeah,
the Blue Bayou. Yeah, it feels like a Blue Bayou type thing.
Oh, cool.
You know what's weird? I fucking love the smell of the Pirates of the Caribbean.
It is pretty good.
Yeah,
that bromide smell.
I
love
bought
a candle of
it. About it, yeah.
Hey, have you guys ever been to New Orleans?
No, I've always wanted to go.
Okay, check it out. The first time I went to New Orleans, when we got to like I can't. What do they call that neighborhood?
Oh, French Quarter.
Disneyland. Yes. Okay. As soon as you get to the French Quarter, we got out of our Uber taxi, whatever it was, and guess what? It smelled like the Pirates of the Caribbean ride.
It smelled like bromide and all that.
Oh, really?
And like mildew.
Yeah, it's that weird kind of mildewy.
Yeah, it's almost like mildew.
Yeah, I finally found out what it is. It's called bromide. It's a chemical they put in the water to keep it clean.
Weird.
And I have a candle of like Pirates of the Caribbean. It smells so like sometimes I'll light it up and just so my house smells like Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh my god, I need that.
That just smells kind of fresh. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It doesn't smell like it's hot. It smells like it's fresh.
Yeah.
We were wondering when we were there, like we were wondering if like did Walt Disney try to recreate the smell of the French Quarter at the Pirates of the Caribbean ride?
Because strange.
I'm not kidding. The
French Quarter smells like piss and vomit. And like horror showers. So actually, speaking of the South, I gotta mention something. We unfortunately lost our last sponsor, David Lynch's Discount Warehouse. The store just vanished. No one knows what happened. They found like a hole in the ground with a weird like black liquid and a yellow dial, like old style telephone next to it. No one knows what happened. Anyways, it's gone. We don't have that as a sponsor anymore. But speaking of the South, a friend of a friend has a store in the Appalachian Mountains, and they decided to sponsor the show. So they sent us their commercial, and we're going to play that for you now.
Howdy, y'all. Name's Abel. You know, people always says to me, they says, Abel, I just don't have enough microplastics in my life. Can you help me? I says, well, sure. Just come on down to my depot. Abel's Microplastics Depot. You know, just before my pappy was struck down by a force wind, he bestowed unto me a treasure map that led me deep into the Appalachian Mountains, into a cave with rich veins of microplastics. Scientists say the average human consumes about 1 credit card worth of microplastics each week. Folks, that's not enough. Just look at these beauties. They may be small. They sure do pack a punch. Here, son, this one's on the house.
Thanks, Mr. Abel, but did you say Forest Witch?
I don't want to talk about that. It's a very painful memory. What's that you say? You already have all the microplastics you need at home? Well, your plastics ain't shit. Only Abel has the most nano of microplastics, with no problems getting past that pesky blood-brain barrier.
Did you say your dad stole that map from the Forest Witch?
Yeah, tell us about the witch.
I'm not answering questions about the witch. No more questions. Oh, Abel, don't you have some bigger plastics? No. Any jackoff can make macroplastics. These are small batch artisan plastics. It's bespoke, goddammit. Are you just going to stand there all day staring at my beautiful microplastics, or are you going to buy some? You know what? Fuck this. I'm closing early today. Y'all get out. My pappy didn't get turned inside out by a force switch for me to put up with this bullshit.
Abel, I have come for my map.
That was way different than I thought it was going to be.
Well, I'm definitely buying some of that.
Yeah, if you need more microplastics in your life, I guess, and you're in the Appalachian area, I guess go see Abel. Thanks for sponsoring the show. Yeah, mention my name, you get 10% off.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I didn't notice an address or a phone number or anything.
We don't talk about that, Chris. Those are details they didn't add, and didn't think about it till now.
You just go out to the porch and you just yell, I guess, right?
1-800, I ain't no jagoff.
Yeah. They're small batch artisan plastics, god damn it. All right, so the next bar we're going to talk about is Musso and Frank's, Hollywood Boulevard, opened 1919. First off, any of you guys been to Musso and Frank's?
No, but it's nice.
No.
Musso and Frank's is like the bar and restaurant of LA. It's been in tons of movies, probably most recently seen in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I'll throw up some screenshots from that movie. That's where they go meet the producer played by Al Pacino. Anyways, tons of ghost stories here, especially being how old it is. Being from 1919, there's going to be lots of stories from this place. Apparently, the ghost of Rudolph Valentino himself has been seen hanging out in the back of the bar, waiting for a girl, or so they say. Rudolph Valentino, I think he was the one that when he died, like women were killing themselves over it. I could be wrong. There's a couple.
Yeah.
That sounds right to me, but I have to look that up. Did any of you guys see Babylon with Brad Pitt and Margot Robbie?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's, I think Brad Pitt is supposed to be like an amalgamation of Rudolph Valentino and a couple other guys. And there's like a scene where a girl has his face tattooed on her back. I fucking love Babylon. If you guys get a chance to see, you should check it out. It didn't do too well, but I think it's a really good movie. So the most frightening story that I read that came out of Musso and Frank's is one of the cooks there by the name of Nacho said that he, while working late, saw what he called, I'm going to try my best to not sound completely fucking Caucasian when I say this. What's wrong, Gabriel?
No, go ahead.
You're bracing?
Yeah.
He's all like, oh, God.
La mujer sin cabeza.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, if any of you guys want to translate that for me, could you?
Well,
go ahead, Gabriel. La mujer sin cabeza.
And cabeza?
The lady without a head?
Oh, sin?
Yeah, sin cabeza.
I guess so.
Yeah, okay. La mujer sin
cabeza. Yeah. So the lady without a head.
Yeah.
Is that what it means?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense because after it says or a woman without a head.
Spoiler.
So apparently this guy Nacho's working late one night doing cleanup, and then he like turns around and just sees a lady without a head walking through the main hall of the restaurant, which sounds fucking terrifying. I try to think of like what's the scariest thing you could see, and it to me it always seems like something without something, like a ghost without something, like half of their body. I don't know if I've ever even asked you guys. I know Gabriel's had some experience, but Eric or Chris, I don't know which one you guys have. You guys ever had an experience, paranormal experience, ghosts, alien, anything like that?
No.
Would you be open? What about you, Chris? Anything strange ever happened to you in your travels around the alleys of LA?
No, I can't say for sure. I did some EVP recordings in a cemetery a very long time ago.
Oh, no shit.
You kind of heard some weird stuff, you know?
You just by yourself or with friends?
I was with my girlfriend at the time. The problem was that we were kind of talking throughout most of it because, you know, you're recording dead air and then you kind of forget after a while and you're just walking around a cemetery.
Yeah.
But there was definitely like spots where there was silence and then you hear like a strange voice. You know, it kind of helps if you listen with headphones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's debatable, you know.
My friend Crystal runs she used to run an all-girl ghost hunting group, and they would record some EVPs sometimes. I think EVPs are some of the creepiest things, especially the ones that are super clear. Because you're almost never going to get like a photo, or when you do, it's pretty blurry. But the EVPs stand out to be pretty significant.
Yeah, it's scary. I mean, you can do it anywhere you want to. I mean, you could do it at home, but do you really want to? You know?
Yeah. Like that. No, it's somebody else's home.
Well, Crystal's always wanted to come to my place and do an investigation because I had some very strange experiences happen here, and I always say like, "Oh, I'll talk about it one day."
Yeah, you do say
Fuck you.
They're like the big time. Feel like one day I'll speak about it.
Yeah, I had some strange experiences when I was a kid and at home. One of these days, I will do an episode about it. I will talk about it. I'm trying to make it something special. Anyways, back to Musso and Frank's.
Jonah Hill, this is it.
Musso and Frank's shares a wall with the Vogue Theater, which in 1901 was a schoolhouse called Prospect Elementary. Now, the problem is that a fire broke out at the elementary school, and it burned down, along with 25 children and a teacher, all burned to death. So a lot of people think that this sort of supercharged that entire area, including Musso and Frank's, with paranormal energy, especially with kids dying. There seems to be a lot more energy associated with spirits when their children have died. And I've heard this from people that work in ERs, doctors, and people in the emergency field. They say when an old person dies, you don't really feel anything. Like you sort of like there may be a loss of energy in the room or some sort of change in atmosphere. But when a child dies, it's like an atomic bomb of energy goes off in the room and then gets sucked out, leaving like a vacuum of energy. And I've heard this from a few different times, and I've read some books about it. So I try to imagine what kind of 25 kids burning to death has got to leave some sort of psychic scar on that entire area. Yeah. If you believe in that stuff, that's got to cause some sort of atmospheric change in that area that would like fuck it up for the rest of history. Yeah, which is crazy. I really want to visit Musso and Frank's and check out, just to like try to see if I feel anything. I mean, I'm not sensitive to that kind of stuff, but I imagine if I'm going to feel it anywhere, it'd probably be there.
Yeah, you'll be looking out for it to see if anything changes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the next place we're going to cover is the Pig and Whistle.
Pig and Whistle.
Pig and Whistle, located on Hollywood Boulevard, which is now closed, unfortunately. Let's see here. Now, the thing is, there's the Pig in Whistle, which is still around, like the letter N in the middle. But there was another place, the Pig and Whistle. And you know what the thing is, you can't really find photos of it. I'll try to find some photos of it later and put them up. It opened in 1927. It was located near the Egyptian Theater, so celebrities would always go out there and hang out. When they had premieres and such, they would go there after and hang out. And it's another bar that claims to have had Elizabeth Short there before she died. Like,
man, she was at all the bars.
She was hitting them all up, dude. She's like, "Look out, I'm gonna be dead soon, so you guys remember me."
She was like the real life Christopher. When Chris dies, I'm like, I swear he was at this bar.
So, yeah, if you're a bar in LA, like all you have to do is say, like, yeah, the Black Dahlia was here for sure, and it's haunted. It's for sure haunted. We're not just making it up. So, in the late 90s, during one of the many renovations of the Pig and Whistle, a chef was clearing out a storage room and found an old dollhouse and a bunch of little girls' clothes and toys. And it didn't really make sense, but employees there started saying that they often felt the presence of a small child. And like they'd be working and something would tug on their pant leg, like a little kid trying to get your attention. If you've ever been around like nieces and nephews or whatever, tugging on your clothes to try to get your attention. And there's also a lot of stories from people online who would go into the restroom, the ladies' restroom, and they'd see a woman who was looking for her daughter. So they've sort of combined those theories, and somewhere along the way, a story was added that the woman's daughter died in a fire in the 1950s. near that area, and that led to these stories about these hauntings where a woman's looking for her daughter. Now, I did some digging. I did a lot of digging. I couldn't find anything about a fire at the Pig and Whistle. There was a fire at the Pig Inn Whistle, but that's a different place. So I don't know if maybe people are thinking of the other place and just combining those two places, and it's sort of getting convoluted. I think that could be it.
That makes sense, I think.
Yeah. But it's closed anyway, so you can't go there anymore. You can still go to the Pig Inn Whistle, but you can't go to the Pig and Whistle. And I'm so glad I don't have to say that anymore, because that's really hard to say over and over again.
Pig and Whistle?
Yeah.
No, let's talk about it some more.
See, the Pig Inn Whistle and the Pig and Whistle. So the last place we're going to talk about. Now, this isn't really, it's a bar. It's sort of a restaurant. It's a lot of different things, but we're going to talk about of all the areas in the that we mentioned. A story kept coming up with these different places that I was looking into, and people were talking about tunnels underneath the store that led to other places. And a lot of these places, when they were built, they ended up being mob owned, because that was the way of Hollywood. A lot of the mob just owned a lot of places in LA, like a lot of other places in New York and everything else. I mean, they had a lot of control of the area. It makes sense, because if you think you're in the mob, you're hanging out at some bar, at some restaurant, and the cops show up, or someone shows up that you think they might hurt you, or you want an escape route. And the thing that kept coming up over and over again is the Comedy Store. So yeah, the Comedy Store apparently has tons of tunnels underneath it running to different areas that they've closed off. And you can go into the basement of the Comedy Store and still see like these gates to other areas that are totally closed off. The Comedy Store wasn't always the Comedy Store. It wasn't the Comedy Store until 1972. Before that, it was, I don't know if you guys know this from listening to the podcast, but with comedians, but it was Ciro's, and it was owned by Bugsy Siegel.
Oh, sure.
Have any of you guys been to the Comedy Store?
Yes.
No.
You, Gabriel and Chris, you've both been?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we may have been there together once or twice. I don't remember, but yeah, I've been there.
Okay. Yeah, it was called Ciro's, and of course, being mob owned by Bugsy Siegel, it has a lot of stories of people being murdered in there. And it's probably at least a good portion of them are true. Because whatever imprint those murders left, it's one of the most haunted places in LA, according to the people that work there. It transferred ownership to Mitzi Shore in 1972. It became the Comedy Store. And as soon as it didn't take long for comedians to start saying that they were feeling weird shit there and telling ghost stories. Out of all the stories that I heard, and I've heard a lot of Comedy Store, you can just look up YouTube Comedy Store ghosts and you'll get tons of different comedians talking about it. But the one that I always found the most interesting was Bobby Lee's. Now, I don't know if you guys have heard Bobby Lee talk about the Comedy Store ghosts. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that at all. Have you heard that before?
I know who he is, but I never heard him speak about that.
I vaguely remember him talking about it, but I can't remember.
Okay, so Bobby has a lot of different stories from the Comedy Store. He said that Mitzi used to fly out exorcists once a year to do a ceremony in her office, because she felt like her office was like the epicenter of the bad energy there at the Comedy Store, and almost like a portal or something. So she would fly in these exorcists to try to cleanse the area. And like comedians would say, like you'd look through, she had her windows all like boarded up, like with newspaper and stuff, so you couldn't look in, but there'd be little areas where you could peek in. And they said sometimes you look in there and there'd just be stuff like floating around the room. One one time Bobby was there late, and he sees a bunch of people walking upstairs. Hold on, my cats are fighting. Every fucking episode they start fighting. Cut it out, dudes. They're pushing the monitor.
Don't make me almost get up.
Hey. Hey, cut it out.
Don't make me come over there.
Hey, cut it out. All right, let me reset my monitor here. So Bobby was there late. He sees a bunch of people walk upstairs, and they're in like dark clothes, like cloaks. He sneaks upstairs, and he sees like people in a circle chanting, and there's candles, and they're doing some sort of ceremony. And he waits for a while. He's like, what the fuck is going on up there? And he waits until they're done, and they come down, and he sees like there's several celebrities in the group. And he doesn't know what they were doing, but they were doing some sort of ceremony upstairs. I think he said he saw Lily Tomlin, the comedian, up there, and a couple other people. But the most interesting story that I heard Bobby Lee say was seeing Gus. Now, Gus is the famous ghost of the Comedy Store. Apparently, Gus was the target of a mob hit by Bugsy Siegel at Ciro's. And Bobby even said like that if you look up in the ceiling at the store, you'd see little holes in the ceiling, and they think that it was put there so people could shoot people through the little holes, like stay upstairs and snipe people without anything being noticed. I don't know how logistically plausible that is, but all the comedians there, almost all the comedians say they have encounters with Gus, the famous ghost of Comedy Store. The craziest story, though, that Bobby said was him and another comedian, Johnny Sanchez, were coming. They had parked Bobby's car at the Comedy Store. They went to a gig in Bakersfield, and they were coming back at like 2 a.m. They go back to the parking lot, and they're hanging out there for a while and talking. And just as they're saying their goodbyes, both Bobby and Johnny look up at the window above the parking lot.
And we both look at the window up above on the parking lot, and we see a white face, a top hat, 2 hands on the window looking down on us like this, right?
With his hands pressed against the window, looking down at them. And they look at each other, they scream, and they look back up, and the guy is gone. I don't know why. It's super creepy to think about like a super white face and a top hat.
That's what I've been saying for years, dude.
It's creepy to see a white face. I'm sick of your slander against the Caucasian race. First you bad talk my Spanish speaking. Now this.
I didn't even bad talk it.
La mujer sin cabeza.
I didn't say anything bad until
So they scream, they look back at the window, and Gus is gone, or who they think is Gus. So Bobby, ever since then, says that he will not go there after midnight. There are other stories like Sam Kinison and another comedian were staying there overnight. They were drunk, and Sam Kinison said, "I'm going to sleep on that stage. I want to like absorb the energy of the stage because I'm going to be a great comedian."
Dang.
And I'm trying to remember the name of the other comedian. If I remember, I'll put it up on the screen. But his friend wakes up in the middle of the night because he hears like some chairs moving around, and he sees Sam Kinison being levitated, like someone's grabbing him by his ankle and holding him up in the air, and Sam Kinison screaming, and they start freaking out. He drops on the ground, and they run screaming out of the store.
Wow.
There's another. Go ahead.
From this, you didn't hear any stories from like regular customers. It always seems to happen like in the back, like in the offices and shit.
It seems to happen after hours. People have said that there's a weird energy in there, but almost all of these are coming from comedians. All these stories. If you've listened to any bit of Joe Rogan early on, he always talks about the weird feelings at the Comedy Store, and talks about Ciro's. So I was hesitant to to add this in because I know it's just been covered in so many different podcasts, but I love Bobby Lee's story, and I don't think it gets enough play about what happened to him.
Yeah.
There was another story from a comedian who went downstairs, and everyone was afraid to go downstairs because it was just a weird feeling down there. And he goes downstairs and he sees like the entrance to the tunnels that are all blocked off now that you can't go into. And as he's down there, he sees like a giant shadow figure just like looming around watching him. And eventually it like flies at him, knocks him on the ground, him and another guy. And they, of course, like scurry out of there as fast as they can. Yeah. But a lot of this energy seems to emanate from these tunnels, which makes sense. I mean, if you're going to bury a body or if you're going to like take a dead body, you're not going to take it through the front door. You're going to take it through the tunnels. And apparently there's a tunnel that leads to the house where all the comedians stay at, and up to Mitzi's place. So I've never been to the Comedy Store. I'd like to go sometime, if only just to see a comedian. But I would love to get down those basements and see what's actually going on down there.
Yeah, that'd be sick.
Yeah, knowing my luck, I'll get down there. It's just like old cans of Coke and like drug paraphernalia or whatever else. Yeah, I always want to get more involved in the different places around LA because there's LA has a lot of cool places. Between here and New York, like every cool bar you can find is probably in those two cities. But I guess I'm not a very like night person. Like I don't go out places. I stay at home and everything. So I wanted to have you guys on because you go out more often than I do. And I was hoping, you'd have some more experience than I would at these different places. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys try these out, maybe make some field trips or something, and let me know if anything happened to you.
I mean, we should go to a couple of these for sure.
I definitely want to go to the Sassafras Saloon. That sounds like fun.
For sure.
Oh yeah, that one's nice. I'll check that one.
Maybe go to Bordner's again. I haven't been in a long time.
Yeah, those places look cool. Or any of the bars, any of the 1,500 bars that Elizabeth Short was at the week before she died.
I heard she was at the Comedy Store too.
Oh yeah, she's all over. Yeah, she stopped at a Pizza Hut too. It's so easy to set up. That's the thing is you got to wade through all the bullshit. With LA stories, like someone that's just trying to get a famous bar or something, you just say like, "Oh, it's haunted." And then someone asks them about like, well, we don't want to talk about it. And then they'll tell somebody else, oh, it's haunted. It's so easy to stuff. So it's hard to find like the real nitty gritty stories and see what's actually true from false. But yeah, go ahead.
No, I was going to say that throughout this episode, I was thinking of bars that I've been to that I've heard were haunted. Like I've never seen anything. I just, I've looked, but I've never actually seen anything.
Do you remember any of the bars specifically? Which ones?
Oh, absolutely. But the thing I was about to say was it's always, I always hear the bathroom is like the haunted place usually.
Oh, that's yeah.
True. And it's like, which one? Okay. So the HMS Bounty on Wilshire.
Okay.
That's actually on the first floor of an apartment building. And the bathroom, you have to like, you leave the bar and go across like the lobby area, and you go downstairs.
Downstairs, I remember you telling me about this place we went. Yeah,
it's there's definitely like a creepy feeling in there, and maybe it's just because like once you get to the bathroom, it's very quiet, and it's like black and white tile. It doesn't really look, no offense to the apartment building, but it's never really like very clean looking. It just looks old, and it's creepy in there. And then you go back upstairs, you go to the bar, and it's you're surrounded by people again.
It looks like a pretty dive place. I'm sharing some images here. I mean, it's nicer than other dive bars.
Yeah,
I would think like the dive bars are the places where the most ghosts are at, because like for sure people have died in the bathroom from drug overdoses.
For sure, right?
That's why Chris is always at the dive bars, just try to find bodies.
He's gotta find
you
those
probably
bodies.
you probably rush to the bathroom when when you're bleeding.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Also, like I've been told by a few friends actually that the bathroom at Jumbo's is haunted. I'm not sure what that means, but a friend of mine told me once that like a jacket like flew across the room or something like that. I don't know.
Jumbo's? I've never heard of Jumbo's either. Oh,
Jumbo's,
this place
really?
looks
I
cool.
didn't even know they had bathrooms there.
Eric just shits on the floor.
I just peed outside.
Is it a strip club?
Jumbo's. It's like a.
It looks sort of like a strip club.
It's like a go-go bar. What would you call it?
Yeah, it's like a go-go dancer bar. They don't. It's not a strip club exactly.
Okay. Yeah, it looks pretty strippy, or like if not, a really sad place to be dancing on the stage.
No, it's a great place.
Okay.
Happiest place on earth.
Chris loves that place.
It's one of my go-to bars. I like it.
The other thing I thought about is like the bathrooms are probably the place. Like I was saying, people probably doing coke in there, because like, or else are you gonna do blow unless you go to the bathroom, and it's you do enough of that, your fucking heart will stop.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Sure. We don't have any experience with that.
Chris is all, what are you talking about?
Now, I could have covered a lot of other places like the Viper Room, but everybody knows about the Viper Room and River Phoenix and all that stuff, and then it was covered on Ghost Adventures with fucking Zach Baggins and his douchebag crew. So I didn't want to cover that, but yeah, you could literally like, there's hundreds of places like nightlife type places in LA that say that they're haunted. How many of them are true, I don't know, but yeah, these were the most interesting stories that I found. A lot of them were just like, oh, we felt something weird. I'm like, I'm not going to include that. Yeah. No one's found any bodies in alleys, so yet. Yeah.
Like the comedy store, there's. I mean, I didn't know, but I didn't get any weird feeling. There's just like a lot of people. It's just.
So you didn't know about the ghost when you went there?
No.
Okay. I think that might have a lot to do with it as well. Is like, what do you know about the place before you go there, and that might like inform your opinion and your feeling of the place before you go in. It's like this setting that you already have in your mind, like, oh, I'm going to get a weird feeling in there. And then you get a weird feeling. A lot of these places are closing down. A lot of these places are, didn't survive COVID. Like a lot of them I found, like I tried looking them up and to permanently close. So I didn't include that. I was hoping to include places that people could actually go to. So if anyone in the has been to these places, had any experiences, has any stories, crazy stories, let us know in the comments. Yeah, that's about it. Thanks for coming on, guys. I really appreciate it. And
no problem.
Of course.
Again, if anyone's in the Appalachian area, stop by Abels, get your microplastics, all your microplastics needs, small batch artisan plastics. When I find an address, I'll put it up.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
I am running out. So
you're running out of microplastics. Yeah. They found out that every man has microplastics in his balls and penis. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
That's where we store them. Yeah, you didn't know about that?
Great.
Came out like 2 weeks ago. A bunch of stories about how they're finding microplastics in balls.
So you think babies are gonna come out like half plastic?
Dude,
plastic babies.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Plasticine babies, maybe.
Plastic, recyclable babies.
That's like a David Cronenberg movie right there. Yeah, check your balls for microplastics because you definitely have them. All
Do
right.
it right after the show's over.
Right after the show's over. You should be checking your balls anyways for testicular cancer. I'm constantly feeling my own balls just in case I feel any microplastics.
Any changes? Are you still good?
The credit card in there.
There's a little homie toy in there for some reason. All right, guys. Thanks for coming on. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
See ya.
All right.